Imagine it is 200,000 years ago. You are standing on the African savanna, huddled under the absolute darkness of a prehistoric night. The fire is dying. You are separated from your tribe, entirely alone, and you know that out there in the tall grass, eyes are watching you. Your heart is hammering against your ribs. You are terrified, helpless, and desperately in need of your pack. But you cannot scream. In this prehistoric world, making a sound is a death sentence. A loud vocal cry wouldn't just signal your friends, it would broadcast your exact coordinates to the saber-toothed cats and hyenas prowling the shadows. So, instead of screaming, something extraordinary happens. Deep inside your brain, an emotional trigger flips. Your lacrimal glands contract, and hot, salty liquid begins to pool in your eyes. A single tear escapes and rolls down your face. It is silent. It is visual. And if your tribe is nearby, it is the most honest, high-definition signal of distress you can possibly send. You have just used humanity's secret superpower. But why did we develop this? Out of all the millions of species on Earth, from the loyal dog to the highly social chimpanzee, humans are the only creatures that shed tears when they are sad, angry, or overwhelmed. Why did evolution design us to leak water from our eyes when we feel? In 1872, Charles Darwin, the father of evolution himself, took a hard look at human weeping. He studied monkeys, elephants, and human infants. And in his book The Expression of the Emotions in Man and Animals, Darwin came to a shocking conclusion. He wrote that emotional crying was completely purposeless. To Darwin, tears were just an accidental side effect of the way our facial muscles contract when we are distressed. He dismissed them as an evolutionary quirk, a biological glitch in the system. And on the surface, Darwin's skepticism makes perfect sense. From an evolutionary perspective, crying is actually absurd. Think about it. First, tears blur your vision. In a dangerous prehistoric world, temporarily blinding yourself in the middle of a crisis is a terrible survival strategy. Second, crying leaves you physically vulnerable. It makes your nose run, congests your chest, and makes you look weak. If evolution is supposed to weed out traits that make us less fit to survive, why didn't it weed out crying? Why did our ancestors keep this seemingly useless, handicapping trait for hundreds of thousands of years? To answer that, we have to look past the surface of the eye and dive deep into the chemical makeup of the liquid itself. Because as it turns out, under a microscope, emotional tears are unlike any other water on Earth. Your body actually makes three completely different types of tears. The first are basal tears. These are flowing right now in your eyes. They are produced by tiny accessory glands under your eyelids, constantly bathing your cornea to keep it moist, lubricated, and protected from dust. You don't feel them, and you don't notice them, but without them, you would go blind. The second are reflex tears. These are the floodgates that open when you chop an onion, walk into a cloud of smoke, or get a speck of dirt trapped in your eye. Onions, for example, release a volatile gas that turns into a microscopic amount of sulfuric acid when it touches your eye's surface. To prevent permanent damage, your brain triggers a massive physical reflex to flush the invader out. But then, there is the third kind, emotional tears. These don't come from a physical irritant. They are triggered entirely by your limbic system, the emotional control center of your brain. And in 1981, a biochemist named Dr. William Fry II discovered something mind-blowing. He put reflex tears and emotional tears under a microscope to compare them. He found that emotional tears are not just regular water. They are chemically unique. Dr. Fry discovered that emotional tears contain significantly higher concentrations of protein, manganese, and most importantly, stress hormones. Specifically, they are packed with ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone, which is the primary hormone your body releases during extreme stress, and cortisol, the classic stress chemical. But that's not all. Emotional tears also contain high levels of prolactin, a hormone linked to emotional expression, and leucine and enkephalin, a natural endorphin that acts as the body's built-in painkiller. What does this mean? It means that when you cry out of sadness, frustration, or grief, your body is quite literally excreting stress. Just like your body sweats to cool down or exhales carbon dioxide to clear your lungs, your eyes weep to purge toxic stress chemicals from your bloodstream. Crying is not a sign of emotional failure. It is an active physical detox. It explains why you feel that distinct, physical lightness after a good cry. Your parasympathetic nervous system has just stepped on the biological brake, lowering your heart rate and releasing natural painkillers to reset your emotional baseline. But this chemical flush only explains how crying helps you internally. It doesn't explain why evolution made this process so incredibly visible to everyone else. To understand the social power of tears, we have to look at another unique human feature, our eyes themselves. Humans are the only primates on Earth with a highly visible, bright white sclera, the white part of the eye. Chimpanzees and gorillas have dark scleras, which helps them hide their gaze from But humans evolved to cooperate. We wanted our pack to see exactly where we were looking. And when you add a shiny, glistening droplet of water against that bright white background, it becomes a beacon that can be spotted from yards away. Emotional tears are a silent, unfakeable alarm. Think about the genius of this evolutionary design. If you are a baby bird or a kitten, you cry out with sound to get your mother's help. But as human ancestors lived in tight-knit social groups, loud crying became too dangerous. Tears allowed us to signal, I am in distress, I need help, and I am not a threat, silently. It is a signal that triggers an automatic, hardwired biological response in anyone who looks at you. Neuroimaging studies show that when we see a face with tears, our brain's empathy centers light up instantly. We are biologically compelled to feel cooperative, protective, and helpful. In fact, modern experiments have shown that even the smell of emotional tears, which contain chemosignals, can reduce male testosterone levels and slash aggressive behavior by over 40%. Tears are literally a biological peace treaty. So, why are humans the only animals that cry? Because we are the only animals that survived by building hyper-complex, deeply cooperative societies. We needed a way to build trust, to show vulnerability, and to bind our communities together without saying a single word. We needed a language that could transcend speech. So the next time you feel a lump in your throat, and you feel those warm drops of water starting to pool in your eyes, don't hold them back. Your body isn't malfunctioning. It is doing exactly what evolution designed it to do. It is resetting your chemicals, calming your heart, and reaching out to the world around you. It is the physical proof that you are part of a pack. And more than anything, it is the ultimate proof that you are human.